I don't know, it's now fifth, I think, series of the webinar that we are organizing at SimpleHW. This is one dedicated to the IoT Lego boxes. We'll start like in 2 minutes. In the meantime, if you could just provide me feedback, whether you can hear me well and whether you can see me well in the chat window. Okay, thanks, Philip. We have here again people ranging from Americas, across Europe, South Africa, Asia, Japan. So good morning to Americas, good afternoon to Europe, and good evening to Asia. Welcome, Finland. Good morning. So let's start. We have used the trademark of Lego. I hope that our friends from Denmark would defend us if we would be sued by Lego for using the trademark, but we are not using it. We hope not to confuse anyone. We are using the Lego trademark just as a parable and just for educational purposes. So we are not going to sell any Lego bricks itself. So I hope that Lego will not be angry with us. But we think it's a good parable. This webinar will take about 25 to 30 minutes. I have like 10 slides, and then we'll have 10 to 15 minutes for your Q&A. The level is intermediate, I would say even an entry level, and it's the target audience is sales, technical pre-sales, SOs, Sigfox operators primarily. So why we are talking about Lego and why we think that when we look at the Lego box, so what's so compelling about the Lego box? We think that there are several traits or several features that Lego box has, and I will summarize it here. I think the first one is that you can see the nice picture. So you can see the nice creation, or nice solution that you are aiming to achieve. You can see it from many angles. You can see it in scale. Sometimes you can also see different designs. So from the same Lego bricks, you are able to build several different objects. The other thing that is important is that it gives you flexibility. So basically, even if you don't want to use a particular part, you want to be creative, you can do it. You don't need to have, you can add your own bricks, you can add your own fantasy, and you can replace parts on your own will. And also you can recycle the parts. If you don't like the object on the picture, you can later on, you can reuse the Lego bricks. The other important thing is that it comes with predefined pieces. So the pieces the Lego bricks are already pre-chosen to you, so you don't need to choose them on your own. And they are also nicely prepackaged in the plastic bags. It has not used to be so, but like 20 years ago they were all in one big huge bag. But nowadays they are nicely sorted in different bags, numbered, and all the constructions, they come with the detailed step-by-step instructions. And also what is important, that most of the constructions can be completed in a matter of hours. If you have really the big construction, so it takes a couple of days, but most of the constructions, it's a couple of hours, so it's not a multi-day project, with the exception of really the biggest ones. But why we are talking about the Lego boxes? Because we think it's a good parable how we are trying to sell IoT, how we are trying to sell Sigfox. Currently, most of the Sigfox operators, including ourselves, we are not selling Lego boxes. We are selling basically plastic, the basic material that IoT projects consist of. The traditional Sigfox model is such that basically Sigfox operator, they onboard a system integrator, they get partners around them, and the system integrator sells to the end customer the total solution, the end solution. And major role of the Sigfox operator is such that they do onboarding, so they train the system integrator in Sigfox backend and Sigfox connectivity. Sometimes they don't even do that, but they should be doing that. Plus, they are selling connectivity. They are selling the tokens and trying to explain our pricing model, which is not easy task. And then the whole rest of the task, the whole rest of the project is up to the system integrator. And it's not an easy task. It's not, first we need to understand that most of the system integrators, at least in our countries that we have seen, they are pretty busy. So system integrators are not just sitting on their hands and waiting for new projects. They are most of the times are pretty busy with their current projects. So IoT is a nice expansion of their efforts, but it's not something that they would be living with day by day. And the system integrator needs to comprehend Sigfox. They need to comprehend coverage, which is not that easy to comprehend. They need to comprehend backend and pricing, which is also difficult. Then they need to do discovery with end customer. They need, once they are, for instance, the logistics company, there are several business cases. So they need to talk to about the business case with the customer. They need to talk about TCO, about ROI, return on investment. They need to choose a platform. They need to choose a proper hardware for the project. Then they need to integrate platform and hardware. Then they need to integrate it into the customer IT system. Define, prepare, launch, POC, sell the field deployment, deploy and solve platform hardware coverage, integration issues, and support. So it's a really huge enterprise and huge effort for a system integrator. Sometimes we are sometimes pushing even them, as Sigfox operators, we are pushing the system integrators to skip some of the steps. And I was really heavily warning against skipping the steps, so skipping the proper discovery phase, skipping proper POC definitions. We see, like, each day a new customer comes to us and they tell us, oh, we have given this end customer this 10 simple packs and we'll see what they will solve with it and what they'll do with that. I really think that it's a way to hell. That it's not going, that we need to spend far more time in discovery, far more time in definition of the projects. But I'm just showing you that the role of the system integrator is really huge, and very often it fails because if they fail in any of those steps, the whole project fails. So it's not an easy task, and we should help them more. And we think that with the Lego boxes, the system integrators can be helped. The other approach is going a little bit farther on the ladder into more sophisticated solutions. And there's a parable with Lego bricks. You have currently, I don't know, about 10,000 different Lego bricks, and that you can construct anything out of. And we have something similar at partner Sigfox.com. If you go to the partner Sigfox.com, so currently we have 700 products that you can choose from. You have 100 solutions, you have 150 IoT platforms. And the classical model is improved here, that at least we give a system operators, as Sigfox operators, we give at least some guidance to the system integrators. So we tell them this is the hardware that we recommend, or go to the partner Sigfox.com to see which platform you can use, or we have tested this and this. It's a little bit nightmarish that each of the Sigfox operators, currently 60 of them, they are testing each of the hardware devices in the market in order to recommend it. to the system integrators. It's a huge drain on the resources, and we think that definitely this is something that could be improved and should be improved. Because the partnership for SCOM, it's a really cool platform. It's a really, I would say, a big step forward, what we have seen since 4 years, but it still lacks 3 major things. If you go to buy any TV set or any car, the first thing either you go to your friends and you ask for a recommendation, that's one thing, or you go to the trusted review site or to the car and driver site or to any of the magazines, and you look at least on some of the reviews of the products. Currently, there is no independent authority that would be doing any independent reviews. So you have no clue whether this button or this GPS tracker is better than the other one. You can ask around, that's for sure, but there are no independent reviews. The other one is that if you go to the Amazon.com, so at least you can rely slightly on the rating on the stars. There's no rating of the products on partnership.com. And the third one, which is also an important one, is basically all the information that's at partnership.com is just proclaimed by the producers. The information is not verified anyhow. So if you say it's IP68 rated, Sigfox doesn't check whether there's a real IP68 certification for the product or it's not. So again, you need, even if you have the database, you still need to verify all the information that you find at partnership.com. Basically, the only guidance that you get is the slight guidance of the Sigfox Ready, of the class, of the radio emitting class, which on its own it's quite problematic. The first one is that the rating is done in idle conditions in anechoic chamber, which is far away from any field deployment. So the radio performance of basically all the devices will be completely different from the testing environment. So it gives you at least it gives a pressure on the manufacturer to take care of the radio performance, but the real radio performance you cannot rely just on the Sigfox Ready certification for your field deployment. That's one thing. The other one is that basically the testing is done only once during the certification, and you have no clue what kind of firmware changes, what kind of antenna changes has happened since the producer manufacturer has received the certification. So there are so many variables that can be changed in the hardware that it's kind of really a rough guidance, the Sigfox certification, and if you see that it's really bad, so you can of course throw it away right away, but you should always think about it, that it's not something that you can totally rely on. Then we have the nice model of the glued together Lego castles. So the Lego castles, and there's a market for it. It's not a huge market, but there's a market for it, where you have where people are already preparing, choosing their own bricks and doing their own constructions and selling it as complete solutions. Basically, it's a parable to the end-to-end solutions, glued together Lego castles. Where you have a finished product, you have something that you can sell immediately. Basically, the sales channel is such that there's a solution provider, end-to-end solution provider, which sells through the Sigfox operator to a system integrator, and then to end customer. And basically, Sigfox operator in this role acts as a distributor of the complete end-to-end solutions. We think it can work sometimes, but we think it has, and it looks nice and professional. It's ready. It can be sold quite quickly. So, especially as Sigfox operators are short in resources, so they can see it as quick wins. But we are thinking that it's a little bit complicated from the system integrator point of view. We still strongly believe the system integrator is quite important in the whole channel, in the whole model, and most of the profit of the system integrator is done on the platform and on the integration. And if you have an end-to-end solution that already includes platform and already includes some kind of integration, so it's hard to make money and to agree on the money. Plus, most of the end-to-end solutions are sold on recurring revenue business or recurring billing. And again, that's something that the system integrators are integrated to have this kind of relationship with the customer. So we think that system integrators are not that much happy about selling most of the time the end-to-end solutions. And the whole thing starts really to be complicated if the solution needs to be tweaked, if the hardware needs to be changed because of the local regulation or local requirements, or platform needs to be changed. So this company needs to have a Salesforce integration instead of the Azure integration, etc. So we think that end-to-end solutions are applicable. But they are not the savior. So what we think that the best solution or the best approach would be, we think that the best approach would be the Lego boxes. Basically, it's a use case in a box. It's a concept where you have a concept where you have a real box. I have this slide of the box here. I was just pushing forward a little bit, and it contains everything. It contains a very nice picture of the end solution, so the customer can see how the end solution should look like. It has the flexibility to be creative, so you can change the platform, you can change the hardware, you can change the integrator. It doesn't push, or it doesn't force you into one solution. It comes already, the Lego box comes with the predefined pieces and pre-sorted pieces, and not this time in plastic bags, but in paper bags. It comes with detailed step-by-step instructions. That's quite important, because what we have seen so far is that we are overestimating the capabilities of the system integrators very often, and we really need to provide step-by-step checklists and instructions in order to really follow each step. So it needs to include step-by-step instruction. And also important is that the whole Lego box can be up and running within matter of hours. So it's not matter of days, but in matter of hours, maybe sometimes in matter of minutes. So what does such a Lego box, Sigfox Lego box, contain? We think that it needs to contain use case. So basically, what is it about? What is it about to solve? It needs to contain business case, including return on investment and total cost of ownership calculations. Again, this is very important. We need to speak money very early in the process, and we need to propose and calculate ROIs and TCO with the customers. Let's not talk about Sigfox. Let's not talk about coverage. Let's not talk about the devices until the business case is clear and the ROI and TCO is calculated. Then it should contain, and it will contain, brandable presentation. One will be the presentation that is facing to the system integrator, basically describing the use case and business case to the system integrator. One is the brandable and user-facing presentation. Then it contains discovery checklist. So basically, the checklist how you should do discovery with the end customer, which questions you should ask, and what topics should be discussed with the customer. It contains all the pre-configured hardware with connectivity, all the pre-configured IoT platform. It can contain optionally pre-configured mobile phone, we are quite often asked why a mobile phone, why I cannot use my mobile phone. I have done, I would say, tens to 100 presentations, and I already had an issue that I didn't know the proper ID of the device, the platform was not set up correctly. So we think that having a dedicated mobile phone pre-configured with global SIM card, pre-configured with a concrete device that can be shown to the customer and maybe even left with the customer, so we can leave the box with the customer. It's far better solution and it's better investment than to save money on mobile phone and try to use our own. Detailed step-by-step instructions. It should also contain end-user instructions, especially if you leave the box with the customer. So it should contain the end-user instructions and optional POC in a box, and I'll be talking about the POC in a box concept shortly. POC is POC in a box. It's a new concept, as we are producing hardware, and of course I'm also the co-owner of some of the operators. And what we have seen so far, and we need to support sales, and we need to speed up the sales process. And one of the obstacles that we have identified in the sales process is that the POCs take too long time, and they take too much effort, both as a system Sigfox operators and as a system integrators and as the end customers. So what we are currently working at is a paid add-on to the IoT platform. It's something that will be not exclusive to SimpleHW. It will be available for all the verticals and all the hardware that is supported by IoT. IoT supports currently 50 different hardware devices. I don't know, 15 different hardware producers. So it will be. It's a universal POC in a box. It's not exclusive to SimpleHW. And basically, it should be a combination of IoT platform, forms, checklist, management of the POC, dashboard, reports, coverage, basically everything what's needed during a POC. Because if you do a POC, you have data in different systems, you have knowledge base somewhere else. If you do a B2C POC, so you have the questionnaire, the form somewhere else, and it's a real mess. So this is something that should be available in beta testing by end of August. It's a platform, so it's just a software, a brandable software, so you can brand it in your own colors. It contains 5 different modules. One is the definition of the POC, which is still critical. Deployment, so basically how to just import the emails of the people taking part of the POC, import the IDs and pack numbers of the devices that are used in the POC. Then it has a management part, report, so you can see how the devices are behaving in real time, whether they are sending, how is the coverage doing, etc. Then you'll have an evaluation module, basically comparing the KPIs, the key performance indicators, from the definition to the real field values. And the last module, which we forget all the time, is the sunset, basically closing the POC, so erasing emails, collecting devices, closing the POC, because that's not done quite often. So this is an add-on. It's a paid add-on. It will be not cheap, but we think it can save a lot of time both to Sigfox operators and to system integrators, because they should be able to launch any POC basically within days. Currently, a POC takes around 2 to 3 months if it's done properly. So we should be able to shorten that 2 to 3 months period to I would say 1 to 2 weeks. And One of the first kits, or one of the first Lego boxes that we are bringing to the market is the insurance sales kit. I have it here with me. Basically, it doesn't contain a nice picture on it, but it's brandable, and we'll be definitely adding a video that's demonstrating the functionality of the devices. So it's really a nice. It's a box with all the necessary equipment. In this case, SimplePack and SimpleLeak. Basically, it's based on the use case of the direct insurance and some of the other insurance companies. We are running pilots with a couple of them here in the Czech Republic, and we'll be running some more in Switzerland. So it contains the devices, it contains the dish for the presentation, it contains a bottle for water for the leakage detector presentation, pre-configured mobile phone with global SIM card. And so we have all the hardware pieces together. We are currently working and finishing the hard part, the presentations and the TCOs and ROIs. It's currently orderable online. So if you are interested, you can order it online. We should be shipping it by August the 1st. The other thing is that will be preparing 2 more sales kit. One will be sales kit dedicated to cold chain monitoring, and one will be most probably logistics. We have not decided yet, but because logistics, we have seen many use cases of logistics, so logistics should have this kind of sales kit as well, especially if you want to compare Sigfox Atlas Wi-Fi with Sigfox Atlas with Google location services. So there are many options, and you want to be sure about the coverage, about the results. So this is something that should be available in a box. So, and we are also hoping that other producers, because again, we need those Lego boxes for other verticals. We are not going to do all the verticals. If you have to, for instance, we don't do the water metering, we don't do the GPS tracking, we don't do gas metering. So we are also hoping that other hardware producers or other solution providers would prepare Lego boxes where they would combine the different parts and would ease the sales process of the Sigfox operators towards the system integrators and towards the end customers. And I'm precisely at 30 minutes now. I have just one invitation here for this Thursday, so in 2 days' time. I'm running a webinar about the Sigfox, the device measuring the Sigfox connectivity and providing immediate feedback on the Sigfox connectivity. So if you are interested in that, you can subscribe to it. I think it's pretty important for all the Sigfox operators and all the Sigfox integrators. And I will return to the previous slide so you can register for it. Again, the recording of this webinar will be available immediately after the webinar. The same stuff is for the presentations. Also, the previous webinars that we have done regarding the sensors, the faults in IoT cells, the API 6 or the IoT platforms, everything is available. Both presentations and recording are available online. So please enjoy it. And now I'm ready to take your questions. If you have any. Any comments? How you like the concept of the Lego boxes? What do you think that the end-to-end cells is far more important than I was presenting? So if you would have any comments, I would appreciate. No comments? No questions? Philip is typing. And also, please share with us if you would like to see any more webinars, if you would like to see any more products, or if you have any comments. We are here for you. Okay, Philip, really like the concept. Can you elaborate on the pricing of the app for the insurance use case, for example? Yeah, so basically there are three things. The first one is the insurance sales kit. It's well, we are selling it at the price of 399 euros, so roughly 400 euros. That's the price of the insurance sales kit. It comes with everything. Basically, it's ready to be. You should be able to present it within 5 minutes after opening the box. That's one thing. The other one is the POC, in a box add-on. We have not decided on the pricing. It's a little bit also on the sister company IoFrog. It's not our own company, so we'll be discussing that. Expect it to cost it in the thousands of euros frame would be the cost of the POC in a box. And then on the platform, we are not sure. So basically, the IoFrog platform can be definitely used for any POC. So if the insurance company or tracking company can run a POC, the IoFrog is usable. We are not sure whether the IoFrog will be used in the field deployment with the companies, because quite often, as I said, the system integrators are interested in using their own platform, or sometimes the companies, for instance, the insurance companies, are using their own internal IT resources and are integrating directly the Sigfox backend to the IT systems of their own. So for the field deployment, you definitely need to talk to IoFrog about the pricing. I know, for instance, that only, again, the IoFrog, for instance, contains even the mobile application. So if you would like to develop a platform including mobile application for POC, it would cost you really in the frame of hundreds of thousands of euros. It's for the field deployment of IoFrog, please talk to them and get the pricing from them directly. Depends on the size. I don't know whether I have covered your question, Philip. Because I've answered that. Partly, okay. But again, please don't forget that and we are too much concentrated on the pricing of the hardware and too much concentrated on the pricing of the connectivity and on the platform. Please bear in mind that only about 15% of the total cost of ownership is connectivity, and 15% is hardware. So the rest, 70%, is integration, project management, support. So we are too much concentrated on the hardware, because you can see concrete pricing. I need 10,000 pieces. Each piece costs that much, and then you deduce the price based on that one. The same with the connectivity, but it's a mental block, because the total cost of ownership of any IoT project is basically 3 times bigger than the sum of the connectivity and of the hardware. So therefore, we are really recommending. And it's also why so many POCs failed, because you don't talk to the customer before, you don't talk to the customer about the real TCO only until POC, and then the customer discovers that the project is not only about the hardware and not only about the connectivity, but the price of the project is far higher, and very often the business case doesn't fit. So it's not in a good state. So please really don't talk about pricing, talk about TCO far earlier in the sales process than most of you are currently doing. Okay, thanks, Ari, for the praise. if in Finland there are some changes with the connectivity. That's the coverage. How I would phrase it. I think that all the Sigfox operators, they do understand that the coverage is important, and they are working on densifying the network, and the conditions under Sigfox basic licenses. The Sigfox operators are very stringent, or are very strong. So coverage can be local issues, but if you talk to the local Sigfox operators, I'm pretty sure that they can improve it. Especially we have now the micro base stations that can be deployed by big apartment buildings, by big office complexes. So micro base station is a possibility how you to do densifications on factory floors, and in some places where there is where until now there was a lack of coverage, lack of connectivity. So thanks for your attention. Please, if you are interested in the insurance sales kit, order it online right now. If you are interested in Checkfox, subscribe to the webinar in 2 days. And also, if you want to hear any more webinars, drop me a line or contact us on our online chat. And have a beautiful morning to Americas, have a beautiful afternoon for Europe, and beautiful evening for Asia and Japan. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.